Hey, what's up guys, Jaeky here. Today we're going to be checking out a new keyboard from MelGeek. This is their latest 2025 flagship product. It is their Centauri 80 Hall Effect keyboard. Alright guys, so let's go over the actual performance of the board here. Very solid performance in terms of the customizable actuation and rapid trigger. I have no issues with using this keyboard in-game. It's very snappy, just like any other Hall Effect keyboard. Honestly, most of the Hall Effect keyboards on the market nowadays are very solid in terms of performance. They're all pretty similar to each other, and this one is no different. MelGeek does boast a multi-MCU architecture for this keyboard, and like I mentioned earlier, it is 8000 Hz. So according to them, it delivers a 150% faster response, and of course a 0.125 milliseconds latency, which is quite impressive on paper. Setting that 1mm here, even feathering my movement keys will move my character in-game, and then with that rapid trigger on 0.1, as soon as I let go of my movement key, my character comes to a complete stop, which makes jiggling as well as micro adjustments very easy on this keyboard. So yeah, with the MelGeek Centauri, you are getting that 8000 Hz polling rate as well, which gives you the lowest latency possible in-game. One thing that I do like about the Centauri is the switches that they use stock are shorter with that 3.4mm travel time compared to the traditional 4.0mm travel time. That makes these switches feel very light and bouncy, and they feel a little bit more responsive just because of that shorter travel time. So yeah, really no complaints here about the performance. It performs really solid in-game. So as with every other Hall Effect keyboard, you will be getting rapid trigger as well as customizable actuation points. This allows you to change when your key switch actuates as well as allow it to instantly deactivate when you lift your finger off. This is extremely important for competitive games, and pretty much the entire competitive gaming community now is using some form of a Hall Effect keyboard. So yeah, Hall Effect keyboards definitely do make a huge difference when it comes to in-game performance. The Centauri also offers hot swappable switches, so if you do want to change out the Hall Effect switches for another type of Hall Effect switch, you can do that as well. The unboxing experience here is extremely premium. The box itself is very heavy, but that's just because the keyboard itself is extremely heavy. The Centauri 80 weighs approximately 1,840 grams, which is very heavy, and that's just due to that aluminum alloy build, giving it a very premium feeling. In the box here, you do get an envelope with a quick start guide in multiple different languages, as well as some MelGeek B stickers, which is pretty cute. In the provided accessory box, you will be getting the USB-C cable. This is a braided USB-C to USB-A cable. You also get a key switch and keycap 2-in-1 puller, which is pretty standard for keyboards nowadays to come with, as well as some extra keycaps in case you want to switch up the feel and layout of the key switches. Moving on to the actual keyboard box itself, the keyboard does come wrapped in this soft touch material, which feels really nice and premium. And here is the actual board itself. As you can see, a very unique theme. The theme that MelGeek went for behind the Centauri is a floating battleship design with those sharp angles and the translucent keycaps as well. These keycaps are also themed to the board, which looks very nice. As you can see on the right here, this is the main standout difference of the Centauri. This is what they're calling their Superdock, and it is an OLED touchscreen paired with a knob and action button. So the OLED touchscreen here is actually a Retina grade OLED touchscreen, coming in at 326 pixels per inch and a 60 Hz refresh rate, which has clarity and smoothness on par with the Apple Watch. This touchscreen can display a bunch of different things, like a personalized image, or you can use it to change settings on the fly as well, such as your actuation points, rapid trigger, and the RGB brightness and settings as well, which is really cool, but we'll go more into that a little bit later. So on the top left of the board here, you do have your USB-C port, and on the top right, you have this little USS Centauri plate, which is really cool. This is what the bottom of the board looks like here. Nothing too crazy, just a little bit of branding here. And you have 4 rubber feet on each corner. There are no flip out feet on this keyboard, so the stock typing angle is all you're going to get, which is pretty typical when it comes to these aluminum chassis keyboards. On the sides and back, you do have LED strips, which you can customize in the software, and you'll see those light up once we have the keyboard plugged in. So out of the box, I did type on the keys a little bit just to get a feel for it, and my initial impressions was I was really surprised at how light and bouncy these keys feel. So let's do a quick typing test of this keyboard so that you can get an idea of how this MelGeek Centauri sounds. So in my opinion, a very solid sounding board. I'm a huge fan of this sound signature, and I think MelGeek did a great job here. So here's the Centauri all plugged in, and as you can see, this is what the default RGB looks like. So again, like I mentioned earlier, one of their standout features is this Superdock here with this Retina OLED touchscreen. You can see here that it's preloaded with 2 graphics. You have the MelGeek logo, as well as this little black hole here. So as you can see, you can change the screen to pretty much anything you want. You can even add GIFs as well. As you can see, this black hole by default obviously is a GIF, as long as they're under 2 megabytes. I'm just going to add this little GIF of Freerun that I downloaded right here. So as you can see, you can crop it and then it will just upload. It even shows on the keyboard itself on the screen that it's uploading. And there you go, guys. Now I have a GIF of Freerun on my keyboard, which is super cool. This allows you to customize the keyboard to fit your aesthetic and your setup. You can pretty much put any GIF or picture on here as long as it's below 2 megabytes. So yeah, that's really, really cool in terms of customization. You can also do different things as well. Like if you swipe up and down, you can change this to these extra keys that you have for your home, page up, page down, and end. You can also do a rapid trigger demo here. So if I press down a key, for example, it'll tell me what my actuation is, and it will also show me rapid trigger. Right now I have it turned off, but once you turn it on, it will show that as well. So you get a visualization of your actuation and rapid trigger right on the keyboard, which is pretty nice. And then you also have status here, which is whether or not your caps lock is on or off, as you can see there. And you can also see what profile you're currently on. The switch down here is for changing different settings on your keyboard. So for example, if I'm scrolling on the switch here, I can switch between the different profiles. And then if I swipe, I can also change the system volume here. I can do media control. I can also change the backlight mode, which is the RGB on the keyboard. So you can do all of this without even going into the software. You can do this all on the keyboard itself, just through this screen. You can change the brightness of your RGBs. And then you can also change the lighting effect of the sides as well. So really, really cool that you can do all of that on board. You can also change the brightness of this OLED screen right here. So as you can see, I can change the brightness right here just by dragging this up and down. You can also use the knob as well to change it. You don't have to interact with the touchscreen if you don't want to. You can use the knob. You can also use the button here as well to scroll through. So if you don't want to get fingerprints on the OLED screen, you don't have to. You can use the button here to scroll through, and then you can use the knob here to change the settings. So that's really cool. As you can see on the website here, you can even change the order of the different features here. You can also remove them. For example, if you're never going to change the OLED screen brightness, you can just simply remove this, and then it won't be an option in there. All right, guys, now let's take a look at the software here. This is web-based software, which is really nice. So you don't have to download anything onto your computer. You can just access the web-based software in order to change all of the settings on the keyboard. The software is still in beta, so I imagine it will improve over time. On the left here, you do have different profiles, which is really nice. It looks like you can have up to 4 different profiles. So on the first tab here, we have our key mapping. This is where you can change all of the keybinds on the keyboard itself. You can also change the function layer as well. So when you're holding down the function key, you can change what all of these different keys do. So that's what the first tab is for. Moving on to the second tab, this is where you can change your RGB effects. So you have a bunch of different preset effects here. Right now I'm on gradual. As you can see, as I click through this, I can change throughout the different effects. You have a lot of different cool effects. You can also do custom effects as well down here if you really want to play around with it. And then you can also change the LEDs on the side of the keyboard and as well as the back. As you can see, this is what it looks like on 100% brightness. The LEDs in this keyboard do get quite bright, and it's even more enhanced just from the fact that it's a white case along with translucent keycaps. The LEDs in this keyboard are definitely going to shine through quite a bit. So if you're a fan of RGB and LED, then this is really good for you. All right, guys, so on the fourth tab here, this is where you're going to change all of your actuation settings as well as your rapid trigger settings. You can do individual keys, or you can also change the whole board at once. So the full actuation on this switch is going to be 3.4 millimeters. And so you can do anything between 0.1 and 3.4 millimeters. And then you can also change the dead zone as well down here. And if you ever swap out switches, you can also choose the new switches that you put in as well, just so that it's calibrated properly. So I'm just going to turn on rapid trigger for every single key. And I'm going to put my rapid trigger at 0.1 millimeters just because that's what I prefer. And as you can see, if you check this box right here, you can see which every key is set to. I'm going to leave all of the keys on 1.5 millimeter actuation, except for my WASD. These ones I'm going to put on 1 millimeter. So that's pretty much it for the software. Pretty straightforward. Again, it is in beta, but it does everything that you would need it to do currently. And yeah, it's very straightforward and simple, and I had no issues using it. So yeah guys, that was my look at the MelGeek Centauri 80. They will be coming out with a 60% board as well, however that board will not have the OLED screen on it. So if you do want that OLED touchscreen, you will have to get the 80% version, which I reviewed today. But yeah guys, overall this is a very unique Hall effect keyboard. If you're looking for a premium Hall effect experience, I would definitely recommend taking a look at the MelGeek Centauri, especially if you want that Superdock with that OLED touchscreen just to customize your keyboard a little bit and add some aesthetics to your setup. Not only that, but this keyboard performs excellent as well, super snappy, and you will get that competitive edge from Hall effect. And to top it off, the build quality is extremely premium and it sounds very nice as well. But yeah guys, if you are interested in checking out this keyboard, I will leave a link to it in the description, and shout out to MelGeek once again for sending this out for me to check out. That's pretty much it. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.